Welcome back to the channel. Walk with me down the street to the corner of fashion and the internet. So, the Hanifa pause.
I want to say that I am truly, truly sorry to anyone who feels frustrated, angry, disappointed, and confused. I hate that this is your experience. We did hear your feedback and concerns, and we could have definitely done a better job of making this information more visible. Transparently, during these times, items are getting stuck in transit due to customs while we're also experiencing manufacturing delays. And for that, we are truly, truly sorry.
I was saddened by this really. I hate to see woman-owned and black-owned businesses have to take a step back and regroup in such a way when other business thrive in their area because they are afforded all the help and knowledge prior through plain old nepotism to where they always have the help they need so they don't get into issues like Hanifa has run into with their manufacturing and with the customer dissatisfaction with the shipping times and the times that they receive their purchases. So it hurts the brand's integrity and the view and the eye of the customer, even though the issue may be something that's really out of their hands. People don't care. They blame the brand every time.
So the Hanifa situation is a perfect storm. You have issues that are very common within the Black-owned business space, and then you have traditional communications issues that happen across spaces and functions, but they oftentimes converge. And so when we look at the Black-owned business space, we often know that Black-owned businesses are more than likely underfunded. They typically don't get the same venture capital. They don't get the same investors. They're typically working with smaller teams. Even if they are a very popular business, we don't necessarily see them have the same structures as a traditional kind of corporate backed business or a business that's not Black owned. That makes the grind for cash capital, like the money to run their business, really gritty, right? They have to work a lot, sell a lot in order to get the cash they need in order to run the business.
So what Hanifa has decided to do was pause production and just work off their current inventory and try to work on their back end and getting the manufacturing and the shipping and distribution issues sorted out to where they could come back, restart what they've already began, which to me is a successful minority brand.
What I said was this: keep this same motherfucking smoke you have for Hanifa for Jeff Bezos. When you get shipped an incorrect item from Amazon, when the item comes to you broken, when the package is lost in the mail, oh, but you don't want to fucking do that. That trash you just got from Shein that was made for a landfill before it even reached your fucking house, you're okay with that. That's not a problem. We're going to just get online and dogpile a Black woman business owner. It is absolutely enraging. And what I said in that video was, we can hold accountability and grace simultaneously. And it's not okay, because many of y'all have no problem bopping into Target. Many of y'all have no problem dealing with these white mega multi-million dollar businesses that have done worse, played in your face every single day.
I really do hope that they are able to address all of the pain points of their customer base so that they can come back, because we know in a lot of industries, to go absent from your specific industry means that people forget about you. And this is a really good brand. They offer clothing that you cannot just see anywhere. They really do have unique pieces, and those pieces are statement pieces, and we don't see a lot of that innovative and creativity in the fashion world. Sometimes we really have to go looking for that. We sometimes here in America, we have to search in other countries for that really just stand out piece that we love and cherish and wear forever, and that you can possibly even pass down. They have earmarked themselves as the statement piece go-to. It is very beautifully crafted products that people actually love.
And I just wanted to say that when I started Hanifa 14 years ago, my intention was to always create garments that made women feel beautiful. And I hope that when you do receive your orders, you get to experience that. And I also hope that you get to experience the craftsmanship, the care, the detail that goes behind every single design. I also wanted to say thank you to everyone who reached out and have shared kind words during this time. Thank you guys so much for your patience, and thank you for allowing us this opportunity to make this right.
The fulfillment issues, really, that is something that really pains a paying customer. And so there were a little bit of dragging going on down to the internet, and that hurts your brand identity, and it strains the relationship that you have, between the brand and the customer, and you don't want to leave a nasty taste in people's mouth. I've been taught that people often forget just how you may have said something to them or the exact wording, but they never forget how you make them feel. So when people do not have a positive feeling associated with your brand, they're likely to not be a repeat customer or continue to be a repeat customer. So I understand the customer side of it, but we do have to be understanding that there are things in the back end, in the production and the distribution side of things that may be completely out of control for the brand.
And what I will say is use this opportunity to thank Hanifa, what she has represented and what she has done for me as a fellow Congolese girl. I love Hanifa down bad. I have bought a few of her pieces, so much so that she, we're talking years back now, slid into my DMs and offered to send me some stuff. I declined and bought stuff, okay? Incredibly innovative from her digital catwalk. And I just loved her pieces, and I loved everything that she represents, putting Congolese girls on the map and black women on the map also in terms of fashion. When I buy her items, one, I'm gagging and I'm excited to receive it, and secondly, when I do then have those items on my body, I feel fire. I know I look good, I feel good, I feel sensational.
I find it very mature and responsible and brave to take a step back, pause production, address those issues, get those things solved and worked out and ironed out. And if a pause is something that is just that, a pause, it may be the best thing that it could have done for the brand. A comeback, as far as the fashion industry, is more feasible. Other brands have done it before in the past. They've taken a step back, or their customer base has left them for whatever reason. A lot of brands have come back from that. So hopefully the pause is just what Hanifa needs to analyze, regroup, restructure, whatever it is that they need to fix, whatever holes they need to plug, so they can stay on track and stick to those reasons for why Hanifa became a brand in the first place. You always want to do things in a way that solidifies and ties back into why the brand even became to be and what made it so lovable to its customer. Alignment with that original purpose is always key and shouldn't get lost in the fray of trying to keep up with logistics and the whole back end mechanics of everything. And I believe it's best to not ever let your design suffer. So looking at the information that Hanifa has put out, it looks like Hanifa will be fine. Of course, only time will tell. We will see what happens. But in the meantime, shop Hanifa. They have beautiful garments. If you've never heard of Hanifa, go check Hanifa out, girl. And as always, I encourage everyone to spend their dollars with a minority brand, minority-owned brand, Black-owned brands, woman-owned brands. Pour your Black dollars back into a Black company. Drop your point of view below in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.